Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Kingdom's Queens podcast. We are fresh into off season, really. I mean, it's been a long off season already, but it's not fun. I mean, yeah, we're just cruising with the off season as it goes. But Chiefs are into OTAs right now, which is team activities pretty much without the pads, and there's not a ton going on in the NFL world right now, but being a Chiefs podcast, we always have something going on, right? With our, Super Bowl champs 2 years in a row this weekend, or this Friday, I believe, they go to the White House. So that's exciting. Yeah. So some stuff going on in our off season, but yeah, so they're in OTAs right now. But we're
100 days away.
Oh yeah, 100 days away from the NFL season kicking off. So that's super exciting. But yeah, let's just get into some stuff. I'm your host, Lexi.
I'm Jodi. What's up, y'all? So, of course, because it's the off season, we have an amazing special guest that we can't wait to tell y'all all about. You guys have seen her on all of your television outlets because all she does is report Kansas City and the Chiefs. Like, what? Like, you can't beat that. It's the best duo. So, go ahead and bring up our special guest, Lexi.
All right. Welcome, McKenzie Nelson, to our show.
Hello. Thank you for having me. That was quite the intro. Thank you so much.
For one thing that we do is really put an emphasis on women in sports that are just killing it, and it's not hard doing what you do every day. So it's important that is brought up to the people because that's amazing. So, yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here. This is so fun. I follow you ladies on Twitter and I keep up with everything. And so when Lexi asked, I was like, absolutely. Count me in. Let's get it down on the schedule. I want to come join you. I will say, you're giving me a little anxiety saying like we're 100 days away now.
I know.
Yeah. Seriously, 100 days. And it's so funny because I didn't realize it until, I guess I knew that it was like May, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, it's May, but football season isn't until September, August. And is that really a lot of days? That's a lot of, I don't know.
100 days is still a lot of days, honestly. That's still like a few months away, but.
It is, but it's like, this is the break time where we're supposed to be like, enjoying some time off, but there really is no such thing as time off now that they're so good.
Absolutely not. Like, absolutely not. But I think that's a blessing and a curse. So I can talk football all day, so I'm definitely down.
Well, yeah, and so like we started this podcast 2.5 years ago.
This is season 3.
Yeah, this is season 3.
So we're going into the third season.
We're going into our 3rd season, but both of our first seasons doing this show, they've won the Super Bowl. So we've had like all this extra content and stuff to put out for everyone because that not like other teams get, which we're so blessed with,
And that's lucky. Like,
yeah.
Seasons where they've won the Super Bowl, you guys have been doing the pod. Now you have to do it this year as they go.
I know. It's like at this point where you're good luck and we totally understand.
Yes.
So, we're 100% sure that coaches, players, everybody listens to the podcast. And that's the reason why they're doing as great as they are, because they're taking me and Lexi's advice.
You guys are really the ones doing the work, okay? Yeah, Andy Reid, whatever, but like it's you too.
It's us. Yeah, it's us. The women.
Y'all wouldn't be here without us, okay?
Yes. Well, McKenzie, we're so happy that we have you here. This is my first time meeting you as well, so I'm just like super glad to meet all the great women of Kansas City. So if you could just like tell us a little bit about you, like your background, your history, how you got with KSHB, all the good stuff.
Well, I've been at KSHB now 7 years. Like a week ago marked 7 years. So I've been here for a while. This is home for me. I'm from Kansas City. I graduated from Center High School. I played basketball. I was on the golf team. I was very involved in, athletics. And then
I did golf too. I played on the golf team too.
Okay, now we need to go golfing. Golf is like the one thing that I do now. Like, the one sport, the one activity that I will stick with. I can't really get injured. I just turned 32. I got to like take it. I'm not playing basketball anymore. Okay. But no, I just love being home. Like I grew up watching these teams, they weren't always the best, growing up in Kansas City, but now is like just an amazing time to be in this city and be a fan of our hometown teams and also get to cover them. I can't always, act as a fan, but getting to cover these teams is pretty amazing. And to do it too, like for people I know, like viewers are like my friends, my family, like you get to know the city and then it's like, oh, I'm bringing you like the news and updates. Like it's just great. I love it. I love being home.
And I'm sure they are texting and calling and messaging like, so what's the latest news on this? Did you hear anything about this? What does this mean? Where does this go?
I have to tell the family and friends, like, okay, look, it's my day off. We're not gonna talk about this.
That is hilarious. So I just want to say that I love that you're from Kansas City. Yeah. I love that you went to Center. Did you go to college out here as well?
I went to Southeast Missouri State. So I went to Johnson County Community College and did my gen eds there.
I went there too.
Really? Oh my God. Okay. Are we allowed to say?
Yeah.
What years were you there?
Like 2010, 2011.
So literally, that's when I was there. I was there. Okay. Graduated high school in 2010. Went to JUCO.
Okay, we're the exact same age. That's
insane.
Wow.
We went to school together and we didn't even know it.
We didn't even know.
God bless.
I'm telling you, Kansas City is the smallest freaking world. Like
it is like the smallest big city.
Yes.
Smallest big city.
Yeah.
So pretty.
It is. It's so funny that you say you went to Center. I went to Ruskin, which was the rival.
And did you?
I did. And then I went to UMKC.
Okay.
But it's so funny because I went to Center's prom. Very long story. Doesn't even matter.
Oh. Okay. What year?
I'm older than y'all. I'm older than y'all. Y'all are babies. But no, I went to y'all prom and I just thought it was so funny because a lot of my very close friends went to Center too because grew up right around the corner. Yeah. So, that's amazing.
Yeah, my mom taught there for like 25 years. And so I grew up going to Olathe schools and I actually went to Olathe Northwest for 2 years, but then I transferred for basketball because, I was one of those kids. I just transferred for sports. And then I went and played there and it was great. So I really enjoyed it. I loved it. Like it was an amazing experience.
So how did you get blessed with staying in Kansas City? Just because me and Lexi know so many people who work for different news stations and a lot of them are not from here and they've traveled all over and ended up in Kansas City. And they're like, thank God I'm here. Like I love being here because all of the excitement. But how did you stay? How did you not have to leave, I guess?
Well, my journey is a little different. So I did leave. I came back 7 years ago, but I've been in this industry for just over 10 years now. So my first job was in Rapid City, South Dakota. And that was after I lived in Memphis for a summer and did a internship there where I didn't make any money. I was just working for free as an intern. So I did that. Then I went to Rapid City, South Dakota for 2 years. And then from there, I went to Northern California for a year and a half. I was in like this small town about an hour north of Sacramento. And
oh, wow.
I'm like, okay, I've got to get home somehow. Like I'm ready. I want to come home. And it just so happened that there was an opportunity here. But what's crazy is it was in news because at the time I was doing the news side and I hadn't been able to like get into the sports world because it's such a tough industry to get into. Everybody that wants to be in TV, I feel like wants to do sports. And so I had started out as a news reporter, as a news anchor. And then when I got to 41, I was a news reporter and kind of dabbled in sports and started like hanging out with our sports department and just kept working towards, hey, I want to be in the sports department full time. That's my goal. And I had some really great people kind of like mentor me and help me get my foot in the door. And then I went, into this hybrid role where I was doing a little news, a little sports, and then now I'm doing sports full time. So it's like exactly what I wanted. It just took a while to get here.
Yeah.
No, that's a great journey. And I love it because it definitely takes work to get there. It's not easy and you're definitely not getting handed it. So, and there's a lot of competition and people who also want to do the same thing. So that's
especially for women in sports, I feel like it's even harder to kind of make your mark and, so I think that's really cool that you got that opportunity and are getting to cover it for your hometown, which is so cool. That has to be
It's been really cool. And it is hard because it's like, I don't know. It's a blessing and a curse. Like if you're a woman in sports, and you're trying to find a job in that next level. It's like, it's tough because it's such a thriving industry, I guess.
Yeah.
But also there's so many more women that are also wanting those same jobs. So it's like, yes, girl, I want to see you get that job, but like also I want that job. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of that right now. So
I
love seeing like more and more women, especially I have a lot of like girls in college right now that are hitting me up like, hey, can we come shadow you for the summer? Can we come hang out and like see what you guys do at your station? I'm like, absolutely, come on in, because
that's awesome.
That's what this is like.
Yeah,
that's great. I love that.
It's a competitive world out there, man. Like,
literally. I mean, I have to go to Dallas to cover sports, so there's that. I'm like, I can't even do it here.
Jody's doing the WNBA in Dallas, which is really cool. So
that's awesome.
I'm
just like, okay, I gotta go drive 7 hours. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. I'll be back on Monday.
That's so cool though. Like the WNBA is just, I mean, a dramatic increase in like viewers and people that are interested. And it's just amazing right now. Just the females that are just, I don't even know, taking the WNBA by storm, like coming from college. And just, it's just amazing. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's such a good thing to see and witness like in front of our eyes. I don't know.
I'll say right now is the first time I've ever seen on YouTube. I have YouTube TV. This is the first time they've ever done a split screen with 2 WNBA games.
Wow.
Ever. And so both games are on right now on YouTube TV, and you can split screen. You haven't been able to do that all season long. You couldn't do that all year last year. So to see that happening right now, I'm like, we're making it finally.
Yeah. It's growth.
I think it's cool about the WNBA, just to get a little off subject here, but I think what's cool is like you're seeing like people are discovering, maybe they heard about it through Caitlin Clark and all that hype, right? But like they're actually discovering like all of the teams and all of the great talent in the WNBA and how there's so many women that are like amazing in that scene right now.
Yeah.
And I just think that's really cool. I think it's really good for the sport. I just hope to see it grow more and more. I would love to see us get a team because we support women's sports.
Oh God, if we do, the city got a team, that would be so amazing. I see Mayor Q pushing an NBA team the other day, so I was like, see, like, more.
Honestly, yeah. And I feel like obviously we've had an NBA team here before, but I feel like if we brought an NBA team back to Kansas City, it would be so much different than in the past because Kansas City just like latches on to our hometown teams and the fan base is going to be supportive no matter what. I mean, look at how we've supported other teams that, you know, haven't been doing so well. I just think it would be like amazing. We have the T-Mobile Center. Why not? Like, let's get a team back. Whether it's a WNBA team or NBA team. I'm like, hey, and Patrick Mahomes, bring him here.
I'm here.
I'm like, please
start the
call
campaign.
Your friends, please. Like, so
you don't need to go to the Dallas Mavs game. We need a team here, and you can just go to the T-Mobile Center.
As a Mavs fan. I'm like, me, diehard Mavs fan. Game comes on at 7:30. But I'm like,
hey, I've been rooting for the Mavs. I went to a Mavs game last summer, and it was, I want to say, my first one. And it was amazing. It was great. I took my mom. We went down there and like went shopping and just like spent the weekend and caught the game. And it was just such a cool experience. I love going to games.
If Kansas City could just be blessed to have another team. And I mean, the Sacramento Kings had the nerves to be really good last year and they're gone. But anyway, that's a whole nother story that doesn't matter at this moment. We can talk about that offline at another day. So I know Lexi was probably going to ask you this, but I'm just going to go ahead and jump in. So what are your current thoughts about this rookie class that we have? You know, I feel like Brett Veach, Andy Reid, Spags, I feel like they do a really great job of identifying great talent. And, you know, I still think the 2022 class is the best class. But I'm very happy with how they did this season. I think this year that they went out and they really filled the holes that we needed in our offense and our defense. So what are your thoughts about this rookie class? Are there any players specifically that you're interested in, or?
You know, I would say overall, like, I think the Chiefs kind of struck gold with this draft. Brett Veach doing what he does best. This is his time to shine. He, you know, traded up those first 2 rounds to get some guys that, you know, the Chiefs had already, you know, done a ton of research on. They really liked. They had him on the board. But I'm excited. I mean, I think they've got a good group of guys that can come in and make an impact, like, you know, pretty immediately. which is really cool. I got to interview Xavier Worthy one-on-one, when he came to Kansas City for the Chiefs draft party. I think that was on a Saturday or maybe a Sunday. But just chatting with him, like,
Saturday, right?
Yeah, I was in Dallas. I was so sad I missed it. Yeah.
I get my days mixed up, but like just talking to him and like seeing how excited he is to be here. And I know he wasn't practicing at OTAs right now because he's dealing with like a little hamstring injury. So they kind of sat him out for now. But like, I think he could come in and easily, work into this like wide receiver rotation and make an impact. Like, I think he has the skills, he has the talent. And I do think, Patrick Mahomes was talking about this last week. Something we didn't see last season was like the deep ball. Like we had so many issues on offense, drop passes, like they just didn't look cohesive. And then now I think like guys like him, Hollywood Brown, will get, Rashee Rice back. Like that's going to be a threat again. And so just to have him, like, I think that's such a good, pickup by the Chiefs. And then Kingsley, he's been, someone to kind of pay attention to and watch out there at OTAs. So I've got my eye on him, I would say. Well, Lexi had asked me, she's like, who are you kind of watching or paying attention to most? And that's one guy that really has caught my eye just because he's going up, against Wanya Morris for that job. So that's been kind of a fun thing to watch at OTAs, at least right now.
Absolutely.
Like 3 or 4 minutes we get to watch a practice.
No, for sure. Go ahead, Lexi. You look like you're about to say something.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's cool that you get to do some of the interviews with them right after. So what was it like talking to like Xavier Worthy right after he found out he was going to be a part of the Chiefs? Not only are you drafted in the first round of the NFL draft, which is a huge accomplishment of its own, but being drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs and coming to a Super Bowl team where you're going to have a chance every season. How is talking to those, like a guy like him?
It was really funny talking to him because, after the combine, people were like, oh, nobody's going to let the Chiefs go get him now after, that showing at the combine.
I know.
And then they go up and get him. And when we were talking to him right after he was picked, and then when I saw him at the draft day party at Arrowhead, he was like, I knew I was coming here. And I'm like, what? And he's like, I knew it. Like I said, I was going to go play for the Kansas City Chiefs and I spoke it into existence. Like that type of like confidence. And I even asked him, I'm like, so was there any part of you that was like shocked when the Chiefs took you? And he was like, no, not really. I'm like, okay.
I think that's hilarious because he posted on Instagram, like, maybe a day or so after how he was DMing the Chiefs like 2 days before, like 48 hours, guys. Like, how are you giving them a countdown? Like, how are you giving Brett Veach a countdown on when he's going to
like, hey, just making sure my number, you have it, my phone works,
Right. Just want to make sure we're good. Feel free to call me on Instagram, Twitter. If my phone doesn't connect, you can call me from any of the lines. But
I just loved it because he was so thrilled. Like, this was where he wanted to be. And for that to happen, like, I just know it obviously is a dream come true for him. And then one big thing was like, he wants to play with Patrick Mahomes, and for it to happen and to be in that moment, it's like, I don't even know how he described hearing his name called because he was just like, okay, yeah, like I knew it was coming. Like, this is what I'm looking for. And I don't know. I just thought that was so cool. And he's so sweet, so nice, like very easygoing guy, good to talk to. So it was a really good interview.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're good.
I was going to say, you could tell he's, just from the things I've been hearing, like he's begging to get the knowledge. Like he's so excited on the sidelines. He's really diving into that playbook. I mean, he was down in Texas, of course, because that's where they go and train. So, I mean, it's like got off the plane, went straight to Texas. Like, okay, now what? Like, Patrick, I want to be attached to your hip and the receivers' hips and just everybody else and just learn as much and get as much depth as he possibly can. Like he's going to come in here and make that immediate impact. And I know you kind of talked about Hollywood Brown there for a second, so we can get into him as well. Him not only coming over, who we know is going to be wide receiver one, make an immediate impact, but has so much veteran experience too that he can teach the Xavier Worthies and the other guys on this team who are rookies to come in and what it's like. You have all this speed. Let me show you how to use your speed. Like, let me show you what this looks like. And he's been with, the Ravens and the Cardinals. So he's learned different things from both of those organizations. And how can he tie that all into the Kansas City offense. So I'm super excited to have not only Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy together, just more so like a mentorship as well. So it's going to be so good.
He's definitely a good veteran to have and kind of like help those younger guys. And I mean, kind of like help mold them or just like get them up to speed with like, hey, here's the way to go about things, or here's the way to do things. Just like providing that insight, I think is great. And then I will say, like, I loved seeing Mahomes and Kelsey and Hollywood Brown at the Mavs game the other night, because you love seeing like the team bonding. And like we saw it years ago, Tyreek Hill was like the Three Musketeer, you know, with them. And now to see like they're all spending this time together outside of the facility. I feel like that's what makes the Chiefs so good every year, is like how they connect and how they are as a team on and off the field. So I love seeing that.
Yeah. It's like the year when they were playing COD, remember?
Oh yeah.
They were all playing COD every night.
With Juju and MVS, and they were all
and Nicole, that was anyway. Sorry, go ahead.
I agree. I think there's a lot of reasons the Chiefs are what they are, and a lot of that comes with the bonding and the way these guys know. Like Travis Kelce could easily, especially with his newfound fame, could easily be like, I'm too good for you right now. Like, I don't have time for this, you know, but he's not. He's making that effort. He's making the time, especially Mahomes too. Like, just seeing them all together doing that, like, you know, their one goal in mind. It's just really cool to see. And I know Hollywood Brown knows the opportunity he has ahead. And I feel like he's going to be the perfect mentor for Xavier Worthy. So I'm really excited for that. And then I know we don't really know what's going to happen with Rashee Rice at the moment. But I feel like he's going to be that perfect kind of just change they need in the wide receiver room too, to where you have these two speedster guys with Xavier Worthy and Hollywood Brown. Then you have Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce, who are kind of like not as speedster, right? But like just really good at making those contested catches and different plays you need them to make. And then I'm really excited about our guy, Jared Wiley, that we brought on in the draft. I don't know if you got a chance to talk to him at all, but I
have not chatted with him, but I have heard that like he's somebody that, you know, some of these beat writers that get to watch like all of practice, they've had their eyes on him and they've really liked what he's, you know, been able to do out there. So
absolutely.
Really, the whole group, I feel like has been doing well at OTA. And I know it's early and it's just the beginning of all of this, and you'll see more at training camp. Like that, but like just the positive, I don't know, positive things we're hearing out of OTAs. What we've heard, you know, when Patrick Mahomes was at the podium, he had a lot of kind of like praise for how things were going and how they were just like getting right into it. And he said something like, you know, we're not getting these guys to like mold them and like teach them to be good or whatever. He's like, we got them because we need them to be good now. We're not like helping them be ready for 2-3 years down the road. Like we want them to be ready
now. And this is what you said earlier, Jodi, is like, it reminds you or like the 2022 class of Brett Veach is probably the best right now. Right. But I think this class, now this isn't like a slight to last year's class, because I do still think they're good as well. But I think this class in particular seems like they have all the potential that the 2022 class had as well.
Well, it feels like last year's class was more of like those depth pieces type of guys who they were able to really just learn. And then when we needed them, come out and, you know, make that impact, especially like FAU. But I will say about Jared Wiley, like the things that I have a friend who did media for TCU, and she was like, you guys are getting a dog out of him. Like, he is so good. And, you know, being able to see what Travis Kelce is going to be able to teach him. Now, I know there was like all kind of chirp about, this is the next Travis Kelce. There's no other Travis Kelce, guys. There's no one else in the world that can be Travis Kelce. Just make it very clear. But if he can come in here and really just learn just some of the minimal things that Travis does, like, that alone is going to be able to be so impactful. And Travis is going on year 12 now. I think this is season 12 for him. So season 12, but 11 playing years. You know, you have to have the asterisks.
Right.
For people who don't know. But, you know, just for him to be able to still come in and make that impact and have those guys be able to take some of that weight off of him. So if Jared can come in here and do that, and you still got the Noah Gray who may be able to help alleviate some of that stress on Travis. And I don't know if McKenzie, you paid attention to the Cowboys at all, but I was like, he can very much be the Jason Witten for this team. He can come in on third down, and then we only need you for 4 or 5 catches. That's it. So if that's all we need you for to keep you for another 4 or 5 years, hey, sign me up for that.
I don't necessarily follow the Cowboys like I do, the Chiefs. However, we have a few Cowboys fans in the newsroom. Dia Wall was one major Cowboys fan. So last season, I mean, you heard everything. Like, we were watching the games in the newsroom if they were on while we were here, which usually they were on when we were here working Sundays and stuff. Right. But yeah, that's the only thing I know about the Cowboys is from Dia and hearing her, talk about her team or scream at the TV.
The only reason why I know is because I used to work for him. That's it.
Okay.
She would always be like, so tell me everything you know. And I'm like, no, Dia, I don't want to talk about the Cowboys. So,
like, I'm not actually a fan. I just work here.
Right. I do want to say, I think I learned how to say Kingsley's last name, Suma Mataiya.
Close. Yeah.
I'm like close. But no, Lexi, I know you chimed in on him for a second too. I think he's going to be able to come in here and make a huge impact as well. So I can't wait to see what he's going to do.
That's going to be like the biggest battle. I think I'm most excited for that battle in training camp is him and Wanye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That job.
And you already know my hot take.
Let's hear it.
Oh, yeah.
My hot take is he already has that job. He's already going to come in behind. Well, and I guess it's just, no. He already took Wanye's spot. He's going to be the backup. He's going to be the number 2 guy. Whenever there's going to be the rest, he's going to come in and he's going to do that. And I think Wanye will take some reps, but I don't think it's going to be a matter of battling out during training camp because I think he's going to come in here and just be a dog based off of his tape from college. Like, his college tape is...
I wouldn't be shocked by that. Like, I wouldn't be shocked by him coming in and winning that job. I don't want to say easily. That comes out wrong. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's going to be as close of this competition for that role as maybe some people are making it out to be. You know what I mean?
Because they didn't have to go and get him so early. Yeah. That's another one of my thoughts. Like, they could have waited in the draft to go get someone.
Yeah, the draft was crazy with left tackles and right tackles in the first round this year.
It was pretty telling. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it was pretty telling.
I think the fact that we
in the first round. What was it? Like, there was a record number of offensive players taken in the first round. That was insane.
Almost all offense.
And there was 7 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Me and Lexi had a bet. I lost. I owe her tacos.
Yeah, you still owe me tacos.
There's no way I think we took the over-under on how many quarterbacks were going to go in the first round. And I was like, there's no way there's going to be more. We put it at 5.5. I was like, there's no way there's going to be more than 5.5 quarterbacks that go in the first round. And there was 7. So I was like, well, there's that.
Well, when you guys go for tacos, let me know. I want to come.
Yeah, totally down for tacos. So, all right, let's kind of transition from OTAs, from minicamp that's on the way soon, and our amazing rookies who we are most excited for. I know you said you were finally kind of doing your deep dive into the schedule.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? What were your first reaction thoughts about the schedule? And then, what are some of the games you're most interested in, or something that you were like, what the heck?
What's the game you have starred?
Okay, so my first initial thought of the schedule was, oh my God, they have a tough schedule.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. A lot of primetime games and tough games at the beginning. The Bengals game, when you ask me which game am I kind of nervous about, I think is going to be, the team to beat the Chiefs, this season. The Bengals is the one that I'm thinking. That one is going to be tough because you've got the Ravens and then the Bengals and then the Falcons. Yeah. That's going to be a tough stretch, those first 3 games. And then you go to LA for the Chargers. So I just feel like the front half of this schedule is not something that the Chiefs are just going to be easing into.
Correct.
It's going to be tough.
Agree. I 100% agree.
Every day but a Tuesday. What in the world is that?
It's the first time since 1930 or something.
So crazy.
And it's so funny. The other day, Coach was like, he said something about the schedule. He's like, I don't really care. You can give us a game on a Tuesday for all I care. We're still going to get ready. And I'm like, classic Andy Reid. I love this answer.
And I think you guys will have to correct me if I'm wrong, but there's like a stretch where they have like 3 games in a
10 days.
Is it a 10-day span?
In December.
11 days, yeah.
I think it's important to also note that that's in December, right?
Yeah.
So I'll say this. I've been arguing with people on Twitter. I've really got to stop. I've been better. I usually only hold off until regular season. And they're like, there's a whole bunch of teams this year, which I think the NFL is wrong for this, but there's a lot of teams this year. I think it's like 4 or 5 that have 3 games in a 10-day time frame.
Yeah.
And so like I was debating with someone and I was like, yeah, but yours is like in September. Ours is in December. Like it's a big difference what time of year it is, because we know that we're going to be playing for playoff seeding in December.
Right.
And if you had those 3 games in 10 days at the beginning of the season, you kind of got some time to, okay, that's passed. Let's,
like that's out of the way. Now we
right?
Yeah.
And it's like
your body too. Yeah. Like all the games like that's going to take a toll on your body. So then that like back half of the season, it's much tougher to have that number of games in that short, time frame, as opposed to when we're just starting off and like your body's in its best shape.
And
especially when you have a week 6 bye.
Yeah. Well, and at that point, that's when you have guys with injuries is in December, and that's when you need them to be able to recover to get to playoffs. So all we can do is knock on wood and cross our fingers, pray to, that we
pray to whatever God it is you
want. Everyone do your part, okay?
I mean, Lord, I can only hope that everyone just stays healthy and, and like Jodi, you posted earlier today, like the Bills schedule, like they finished with the Patriots twice.
I don't think they're going to have 10. I don't think they're going to get 10 wins. We'll talk about that later.
That's such an easy end to your season. Patriots, whoever Patriots, like what?
Yeah. I was like, I don't think they're going to have 10 wins.
Meanwhile,
they're not going to hit over 10.5. It's like
we've got like Chargers, Browns, Texans, Steelers. I think we end with the Broncos. So I mean,
right.
I don't know. I feel like there's no part of the schedule that's like, okay, we can take a little breather now. Like let's get it together type of thing. Where last season it was like, okay, there's still time to figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't know about this season. Like it's gonna be tough.
In the last 2 years, we've had later buys. So it will be very telling this year. It will be very telling this year. Like, and I'll say this, depending on how the season goes, I always think, and I haven't really dived into the schedule, but I always say we're going to go 13-4 just because.
Sounds about right.
I like it.
And I don't know which games we're going to lose. It'll probably be like the Bengals and the Broncos and probably the Raiders. Like it'll be very random games, right? And I'll figure that out in July. I can't mentally do it right now. But
there's only so much you can focus on right now.
Yeah, like I can't mentally focus on that right now. But it'll be very telling to see how they're playing and how they make those adjustments since the bye week is so early. The schedule is very tough at the beginning. The early bye might be nice because the beginning of the schedule is so tough. But, it just really shows that like if we are like on this winning streak and we have this super great record, that week 17 and 18 game, they might be, we might only play you the first half and then let you sit the second half, or when we go to Denver, you might not play this week. You might not play in Denver.
I think like the only good thing about playing on Christmas Day is that that's the Steelers game. We're there. We come back and they have now I hope that we don't have to start our starters for that week 18 game against the Broncos, because that's in Denver also.
I know that was actually the game I planned on going to this year. And then I seen it was week 18.
Right. And so I hope that we don't have to start our starters for that game. But on the off chance that we do, I like that we have like a week and a half of break after that Steelers Christmas game. Because it is like December 25th to like January 5th.
So like a 10-day span or something.
So, like that. And then if we don't have to start the starters, then our starters have even longer to rest. The only thing I think could be interesting is like, let's say the Chiefs do get the 1 seed again. Then if you don't play your starters against Denver, they're off for like 3.5 weeks.
And I really think it's And I know we're way too early. I love a way too early prediction real bad. But like, then it's like, well, what are the other AFC teams doing, right? What are the Ravens doing? What are the Bengals sitting at? How is Miami doing? Where are the Texans at? Because we might not be able to sit. I will say, McKenzie, what are your thoughts about Carson Wentz as a backup?
Oh, I'm good with it. I like it. I think he's going to be great. He's totally a great addition to the quarterback room. And I think it's like crazy that he's here. I still don't know if I've let that sink in yet.
Yeah. So same. I'm a big fangirl for Carson Wentz. So overly through the moon excited. So that kind of goes into my week 18. Like, well, if we have to sit, I trust Carson Wentz going out there and winning a game. Like, I definitely trust him going out there and winning a game. Like, he understands Coach Reed. They played together. He was his coach. Like, it is like the perfect combination of going to get a backup quarterback. This is the guy. Like, when we signed him, I was like,
he knows how to play the game. Like, he's a veteran.
He could be a starter.
Yes.
There's some teams where he could go be a starter right now.
Yeah. And I just love that, like, that's the guy that's backing him up, because he's not some young guy that, like, I mean, not to say he's not young, but you know what I mean? Like, he's not some young guy new to the NFL, like, kind of just, you know, working to maybe earn a starting position. Like, he's somebody that knows the game. He's been doing this. Like, he could come in and be under pressure and be fine. So
he's like he's the very typical Veach and Reed, like, backup quarterback. Yes. Like, but to me, he's better than anyone we've had in recent memory. He's better than Matt Moore. He's better than Chad Henne. He's better than Blaine Gabbert. No shade to Blaine, you know, but like.
Well, and I love Chad Henne, but he went out and did what we needed to do, right? And I feel like.
But Carson Wentz, like, he's actually someone that, God forbid, knock on every piece of wood, Patrick Mahomes went down. I feel like Carson Wentz would be the guy that could actually go in and, like, win some games for you in the regular season.
Not worried at all, especially because like he comes from the NFC East, and that's a tough division. I mean, Giants, Commanders, that's all teams that have really good defenses. So he's won against really good defenses for a lot of years. So I'm like, come on down, Carson, come on down. Welcome to Kansas City. We have good food.
Let's see you out there.
I love that, like, Travis Kelce is already saying he's already such a good addition, and apparently him and Patrick and Carson all went golfing
fun.
And somewhere in Kansas City. I was like, I love that. That's amazing. So
probably Lock Lloyd, I would say.
Probably Patrick's house.
Or that,
I'm like, because he has a golf course. So.
Right. Somewhere private.
I think he lives out there by Lock Lloyd, and that's, you know, one of the most, you know, well-known courses here in town. And I could definitely see them out there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We have this question, which we also had it for you in our questions, which who do you think, like, the Chiefs' biggest threat is in the AFC going into this next season?
In just the AFC or the AFC West?
You could say overall too.
You can say both. You could start with AFC as a whole, and then you can go on AFC West, and then I'll give my answer too.
Well, I hate to say it, but the Raiders, they just always seem to throw us off every now and then.
Okay. That's
you know what I mean? Just like we lost to them last year. They sneak up on you. And I hate that, because it's like we have been so good against them for so long.
Yeah.
So I don't love that. But the Raiders, they scare me a little bit, in the sense that it's just so unpredictable whenever we play them. And then, like, for AFC teams, like, obviously I mentioned, like, the Bengals game, but the Ravens are going to be out for revenge, you know.
Absolutely.
So they're going,
especially depending on how week 1 goes. Woo.
Exactly. So that the Ravens and the Bengals are the two teams that are really kind of, I don't know, that they're circled, you know, for me, where I'm like, okay, these are the teams that the Chiefs are really going to have to, like, look out for, because they're going to be out to take them down. So
absolutely.
Those would be my teams, but the AFC West, definitely, the Raiders just throw me off. Like, you just never know. You think they're going and win. It's always a toss up. Just, I don't know.
Yeah. Lexi, who are your two?
Yeah, I think I agree. I think it's funny that like the Raiders after that Christmas Day game, they just think they have us all figured out.
I know.
Do you guys, I hope you remember me telling you last year that we were probably going to lose to the Raiders. Do you remember that?
I think I said Broncos.
I told them last year, I was like, y'all, I don't know. This Raiders team, like their vibes are super high. Like they got this temporary coach.
What's crazy is like,
great, and then they beat us, and I was like, "What in the world?" Okay, I was joking, kind of,
because they're like that's the thing is that's what I worry for the Chiefs is like there are some teams that are just so sick of us that I just think we're gonna lose for like some dumb reasons, and who knows? I mean, I still think we win our division, of course, but like I do think these games are gonna be way harder than we think. That like it's like, oh, you guys play in a crappy division, like yeah, sure, but like. We also have won it for 8 years or whatever, and they're done. Like they're sick of it.
And they tried to be better. They spent lots of money to be better, and it just didn't work. So also not our fault.
Yeah, all these AFC West teams are going to be out for blood. I mean, they're sick of watching us win. They're going to be very tired of it, and that's going to be the goal. You know, is to get through the Chiefs, like beat them, and I don't know. That's why I just think a lot of teams are out for blood this season. So you kind of got to watch everybody.
And I think. Not that they're asleep, but they're not really a sleeper team. But I think the Texans are still going to be really good.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to end up somewhere up there with us as well. So I think, yeah, like you said, Ravens and Bengals right off the bat is tough. Bengals tend to start off slow with Joe Burrow. Like he doesn't always do that great at the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and their receivers are not happy.
Against us, like
I'm like, and their receivers are not happy. So.
Yeah.
Right.
When he's coming off, injury, stuff like that. Like, I don't know, but that's why it's something that has caught my attention just because of all these things in the past, like the adversity, the situations that have been going on out there. Like they just seem like a team that the Chiefs are really going to have to be prepared for because if they're not, they're going to get, spanked.
I agree. I think my teams, I think it would be the Raiders as well and the Texans. I think the Texans are the second best team in the AFC this year. Mm-hmm. So I know a lot of people aren't going to like that take, but they are. They have the best receiving core. I think they have a great head coach. CJ Stroud was my favorite in college. So I'm like, he knows how to play in the cold. Mm-hmm. He knows how to play in the winter. He can play anywhere against Ohio State. So I'm like, man, that Texans team.
We're big fans of CJ Stroud. We just can't say that, obviously. But he's a great quarterback, so I expect him to do nothing but the same thing he did last year. Mm-hmm. I will say I saw some Bills fans being like, oh, we're entering a season where we don't have a true wide receiver one, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like thinking in my head, I'm like, in retrospect, I'm like, we just went through that. And with
our life. Working our life. Hi. That was us for the last 2 seasons.
Yeah. So, but I was like, but also you don't have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. You have Josh Allen and Sean McDermott.
I mean, but according to the world, Josh Allen is the best quarterback. He's the most accurate. He's the best ball slinger. He's all these great things that people say. So it's really no excuse to me because it wasn't an excuse for Patrick.
No.
I am not at all a Josh Allen fan. Like, not a Josh Allen fan. I'm like, no excuse.
She's his biggest hater.
I was at the Bills game this past playoff game. I was in Buffalo for that game, and
oh my Lord.
How was that? I want to hear about that.
It was freezing, first of all.
Were you at the Miami game?
It was cold. I think the Miami game here was cold. Yeah, I think it was more cold here in Kansas City, but Buffalo, it was cold. But the wind chill wasn't as bad, but it was still freezing. Cold. And they were like shoveling the snow out of the stadium because they had to if you guys remember, it was like days in advance of the game. They had people shoveling. So that was just intense. It was an intense game. And then, for a second, I'm like, oh my God, we are not winning this game. And then, to win the game and, move on. It was crazy. And Bills Mafia, they were not happy.
I know they're like, get out of here, McKenzie.
Oh my God. I was leaving the press box to go down to the tunnel because I was going onto the field after if we won to interview one of the players. I think they gave me Rashee Rice that game. So I'm like kind of waiting, and I'm like having to walk through where like fans are to get down to the field. And it was like, I think a minute left, and half the stadium, they were leaving. So I was like walking in between Bills fans, and we're home of the Chiefs. And so I have my 41 Chiefs on and stuff. And I'm like, oh God, like, don't throw anything at me.
That's intense.
Do
you travel for every away game, or are there certain games that they dedicate for you?
So we travel for like Sunday night football games, the ones that are on our air. So if the game's on NBC, we usually will travel to those games. And then like playoff games, we'll go to those. It's really kind of dependent on who we're playing, where it's at, is it on our air? And then like lately it's like, we've been having to go to Super Bowls, which aren't cheap. And so it's like, okay, do we go to this game during the regular season, or do we save up in case we have to go to the Super Bowl again?
Yeah. You're like, save up. But,
Exactly.
I know last season we had a few losses, and you guys were probably like, okay, so.
Yeah.
I think all of Chiefs Kingdom was like, are we going to go to the Super Bowl this year? Like, are we making the playoff? We know we're making the playoffs.
Right. I don't feel like our team found their groove like until the playoffs.
Absolutely. It was like week 17.
Yeah.
Like, okay, y'all.
It was weird.
Back to football.
Yeah, that was like the weirdest offense like that we've had in terms of like, Patrick does those little camps down in Texas where he works with the receivers. I mean, they did all that last year. Yeah. So then to see them come out and just struggle like that, like not really be on the same page for so long. Cause I remember, and you guys were probably thinking the same thing, like, we'd get through a game and it's like, they'll figure it out. Like they've got plenty of time. They'll figure it out next game. And then the next game would come and we're like, ooh, like they had this one drop. So it was just a weird season of like, okay, maybe they're not going to get this figured out, and that could come back to bite us. But I mean, obviously it worked out for, our favor and everything like that. But that was a weird season watching the offense and just be like, this is not what Kansas City is used to seeing. And that was weird.
Very
agreed. And I think we were all if last season taught Jodi anything, it is to have patience and I'll wait till the playoffs. Like I remember saying,
just win enough games to get to the playoffs.
Our first playoff game was did it go Miami,
Buffalo, Baltimore.
I couldn't remember if it was Buffalo or Miami first. I just remember saying, if we beat Miami, we're going to the Super Bowl. I remember saying that the first
Jodi said that before the game. She's like,
if we beat Miami,
yeah.
And then we were like, are they going to cancel the game because of the weather? Meanwhile, we're just out at Shields buying every entire store.
That
Michaels and went to the game. But
oh my God, that was a cold game. Shout out to the fans that went and like bundled up and braved the cold to cheer them on. Like that was some crazy cold.
No, I've never experienced that level of cold ever.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the coldest day I can remember in Kansas City history that I've been alive.
Mm-hmm. Well, you probably weren't outside for it. You were probably inside of your house.
That too.
Being warm and bundled up.
How many layers did you guys have on for that game? Like, did you go buy new gear?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
I was covered like everything but my eyes was covered.
Yeah. And some people had the goggles on too.
That was us. We bought ski goggles. I just remember we bought ski goggles. We bought bibs. We bought underwarmers. But that doesn't even include all the other layers. And then I just remember, like, I was like a freak. I was like, we need this many hand warmers and leg warmers and toe warmers and neck warmers.
You know what's hilarious? Like my first top layer was like a blouse, because they said that like material of this blouse that I had was like the best for breathing in cold weather.
Really?
So I actually had a blouse on under every other thing.
Okay.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
I don't think I've said that yet, but yeah, I had a blouse.
No, I didn't know that. I just know that like when the game was over and I was like trying to get in the car, I was like, I have on too many layers. Like I have to take some layers off to get in the car because my legs wouldn't have been.
Sweat. It's like you're freezing, but you're also sweating because you have so many clothes on.
Exactly. That it was.
So that's why I wore the blouse. It's because they were like, you can sweat in it. And like and be cold. I was like, great. I'm gonna do
How did that work out for you? Will you do that again this season?
it was honestly great. The only thing that was bad were my toes. Like my toes were like the one thing I could not get warm, no matter what. So
that is hilarious. And
everything else.
Sorry, I should have. I had on wool socks. Mm-hmm. They were like, these are great for hiking.
I had on wool socks. They didn't help at all.
And warmers and 2 other pair of socks. Anyway, McKenzie, what is your way too early prediction on the Chiefs
on our record?
I'm gonna say what Jodi, you said 13-4. I'm gonna say 12-5. I think it'll be a better record than last year, but still some games that shock us. I would like to say 13-4 or 14-3. You know, I'd love to think that and be very optimistic, but I just think every year there's games that sneak up on us that, you know, we just don't have stuff figured out. And so, but I still think they're going to have a good record. I think they're obviously going to go to the playoffs. Like, I think sky's the limit for them when you've got Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. And now to see that they got him some weapons, I just think it's going to be a different team and they can, you know, be better and like reach different heights this season, but it just might not be a major drastic change like in one season. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree. I think our offense is going to be a lot better, which is going to help. And I think our defense, I don't really see them taking a step back. I know we lost Snead, but other than that, I think they're still going to be super, super elite. So, and I think
that Duffy press conference was great.
Oh, yeah. I just love him. I think he's going to be the
fired up. He's fired up.
Mm-hmm. But I do think, you know, which we've had the last few years, but I think now more than ever, it's going to be the Chiefs are the measuring stick for how good your team is, right? So any team we play, they're going to be like, can we beat the Chiefs? Like, even like the Falcons, the Panthers, you know, teams like that are going to be like, can we beat the Chiefs? And so we are
the Panthers might beat the Chiefs. Don't be surprised.
I know they really might.
I'm legit going into this season like, you know, whatever.
You might lose that one.
I'm not gonna be surprised by anything.
It's like a pointless news.
We could lose in Atlanta. I would not be surprised if we
honestly, no. We almost lost to the Falcons a few years ago when they got
like this is our life at this point. Just get to the playoffs, win the division, and then we'll start over from there.
We'll go from there. Well, I know Patrick said, like, in his press conference, he's like, we just get a little bit bored, like, mid-season. And I'm like, okay, we can't have that. We cannot have that. I know you guys get bored, and but you have to actually make the playoffs. Like,
I think that's because they couldn't throw the ball down the field last year, though.
I think so, too.
Yeah, he wasn't, like, able to run the offense that he probably was wanting to. Yeah. And I think too, a lot of frustration came out last season. You could just see it built up. You saw Patrick, like, in many different occasions, you just saw a different side of him. You could really see his frustration, which is different. You know, I don't think we'd ever really like seen that, but to see him get so upset on the sideline a couple times, you could just tell, like, it was almost like he wasn't having fun. Like, at least in that moment. Obviously, he loves the game and he's always having fun out there. But, like, when you give him the opportunity to play the way that he wants to play, he's going to.
And everyone around you just keeps messing up. Like, that has to be so frustrating.
You can see the frustration on him and Travis's face. Like, but as a fan, I was like, I'm glad they're upset because this is frustrating. So I'm glad that they understand the same level of frustration that I have. It's just, you have to talk to these people every day, and I don't.
I have like last quick question for you, actually, just real quick, is about Kadarius Toney and him not being there at OTAs yet, / like what the locker room is like last season.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with this guy. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, voluntary OTAs, but like, after everything that happened last year, like,
you should be there.
What is going on? Yeah, like, you should be here with the team at OT, unless you have like an amazing excuse. Like, I don't know what these guys are doing. It's not like I know their schedule.
Motorcycle, so we saw that.
But he was with Patrick and them in Dallas for a little bit at the beginning. Like, I seen him there like at the very beginning, and at this point it's kind of foggy. I can't remember if that was before the draft or after the draft at this point. But I do remember seeing him there like one time.
Yeah, I think I saw him like in the photos or videos that were floating around on social media, but I was just kind of shocked that like he was going to be with the team after like that whole Instagram Live incident last year, like before the game, and just like some of the other stuff, like he was always injured, and then he was saying he wasn't injured, but Chiefs were saying he was. Just that whole drama. I never expected him to still be on the team. So I'm just like waiting to kind of see what happens. I gotta wait this one out a little bit.
Actually, are you going to the White House thing?
No, I wish. We're not going.
On Friday? No, I didn't know.
I don't think anybody gets to travel like
that. Yeah, probably not.
I think it's like a very private, obviously, because security and stuff. I don't know if there's like.
Oh, wait, they did just release. Okay, so real quick, they did just release their photos from OTAs today, and Chris Jones wasn't there last week. He's there today.
Okay, good. That's good.
Because he was at his house in Florida. Leave that man alone. No.
But he's here. I'm so glad to see him. That makes me so happy.
Hey, he probably said too, even if he's not like at OTAs or whatever, like he's still working out and practicing. Yeah. There he is. Yes. Now it's time.
I was just like, Chris and Travis don't have to show up for a single thing for me. They can just be there with one, and I am happy. I know what you're going to bring to this team.
Exactly.
Get all the rest you need. Get all the treatment you need. Do whatever you got to do. I will see you week 1 and come get 15 sacks this season. Thank you.
Exactly. Because they're doing their work. Like they're still working out even when they're not with the team. Like they have their whole routine. So
absolutely.
Yes. I wonder if Kadarius Toney will be at the White House this week with the crew. If he'll go.
No. See.
Don't know. Don't care about Kadarius. That's my problem. I don't care about Kadarius Toney. I am not happy with him in the way he was the last year and a half.
Yeah. Move. I mean, he could be so good. Like
he got a ring. He got 2 rings.
Oh, he could be.
He has all the potential in the world.
I know. We just gotta see it. We gotta don't get injured. Like, let's stay healthy. Let's catch the ball. Let's do everything right, and you're gonna be amazing.
What's gonna happen is we're gonna bring you back in the fall for a show, and I'm gonna be like, all right, McKenzie. Now we've wasted 5 reps a game on Kadarius Toney. Who could those reps have went to? Could those reps have went to anybody else? No.
Yeah. We're like a couple weeks into the season. We're going to do this and we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, we're going to be like, okay, remember May 28th?
Now what?
We had this conversation. Oh, my God. Well, we are very glad that you are here with us, McKenzie.
Oh, I'm so happy. This is so fun. I mean, I have been dying. Like, Lexi and I, we were trying to plan this like for a week or 2 ago. And I'm like, I've got to get on this thing. So I love that you guys had me on. It's so fun. I love talking sports too with other women. Like that's always the best.
Well, welcome back anytime.
Okay.
We need to get together for like tacos and margaritas or something.
Yes, I'm invited. Well, I invited myself. So
yeah, she's like, I'm invited.
Yeah, I'm like, totally fine. Love that. Love a good margarita. It's the summertime almost kind of. So we deserve a margarita.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. So can you please tell everybody that's listening where they can find you, where they can get all your content? Because for those of y'all listening, the 530 people listening, the girl pushes out great content all the time. So you need to follow her if you're not following.
She covers the team firsthand. She gets some great interviews. So
you
definitely need to follow her.
Yeah, no. So all my handles are the same on like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. It's just McKenzie M. Nelson. And my name is spelled weird, guys. It doesn't have an A, so you have to spell it right. But I like to post like all the Chiefs content to Twitter. I'll post like some videos and reels to Instagram. But I just try and like spread content everywhere. So, if there's like a platform that people like the most, I do post to it. But as you guys know, Twitter is always like the quickest thing when you're like at practice trying to get something out.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. I feel like me and Lexi like follow and know all of y'all. So now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna retweet McKenzie first before I do somebody else. One of the guys. I'm gonna retweet her first, and then one of the guys afterwards. So,
honestly, let me retweet the women first.
Sometimes you too will like tweet something, and I'm like, okay, I love what you tweeted, but like as a reporter, I'm like, God, can I retweet this or not? Is it too like
I know.
So I'm always like
yeah.
I hope nobody cares.
Jodi had, I won't say his name, but she had a male guy that's very in the Chiefs world tell her that she says all the stuff he wishes he could say.
Yeah. Yeah. He was like, I wish I could say the things you say.
There's certain things I can't say, but I love that you guys do.
Right.
I'm like, well, when me and Lexi get on that side of the bridge, we'll also edit ourselves. So
yeah.
Until then,
what I want.
Yeah, until then.
Until then, no, and I think
right. I apologize in advance. No.
You know what's funny is like I've noticed there's times where like we'll post something and maybe the Chiefs didn't think to post it yet on like their own social media, and then they'll post something similar like 3 hours later.
Yes.
Like, interesting.
Wonder who helped you figure that one out.
Hate that we said something like that, but
they definitely took one of my captions last year, and I was like, I'm not mad. I am not mad at this. I actually love this for my life because it means that I'm not messing up too badly to where my mother would be embarrassed of me. So anyway, thank you, McKenzie, for hanging out with us. This was super fun.
Yes,
time kind of flew by. Wasn't expecting that at all.
It did.
Like time kind of flew by. But no, we're definitely going to bring you back on. I know your schedule is probably about to pick up though, since Chiefs is picking up. So you'll just have to let us know.
Maybe like a training camp sometime. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Like preseason or something. That'd be fun to have.
Yeah. Because we'll be up at training camp too.
Amazing. Yeah, let's do something. And I think that'd be great because we can kind of talk about the different stages as, you know, we like ramp up to the regular season. So I think that'd be so fun. So
yeah, let's do it. Sounds good. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having
me. All right, we'll talk soon.
Bye. I love her. She's so sweet.
Fantastic.
I love her. She's so sweet. So yeah.
Love it.
All right. Well, let's wrap this thing up. Great show. Love McKenzie. Got to get her back again for sure because
she's so fun.
She's fantastic. And I love women doing great things in the community. So love that real bad.
And I love that she's local. I feel like everyone else we've had has been like from somewhere else.
Literally everybody is from everywhere else. And I'm like, wait, what? Oh. So
that's really cool.
Very cool.
Yeah,
very cute.
I love that.
Do you have any cans?
Shout out to Ken. Find one real quick.
Shout out to the sponsor, Ken Seltzer.
I think I do have one.
I just noticed today when I finally checked my messages, they're going to start doing a First Fridays event down at Border Brewery, the first Friday of every month from now until I believe October. So that's going to be very cool. Just networking. They're going to be doing giveaways. They're going to be having mixed cocktails. There'll be cans that you can get and drink. So super excited for that. I know me and Lexi will definitely be tapping in. I think the first one is next Friday. So can't wait to see what the First Fridays edition is all about. Did you hear what I said?
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Okay. I'm like, wait, did you hear me?
That's super cool.
Yeah. Love that. But in the meantime, 2 cans that you can go and get right now. We got the pineapple.
Yeah. Well, this is the original pineapple and peach.
Okay. I was like, wait, which one do you have?
Yeah.
Pineapple and peach, and then of course there is a strawberry lemonade, and they are both delectable. They're delicious, and they'll be oh so good as we get into this summertime when you just want something light, clean, and refreshing.
So refreshing.
It's so like actually it's like almost the most perfect refreshing drink. So shout out to the sponsor. Super appreciate them. And yeah, I guess it is time to get. Oh, I haven't even looked at
the end already. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. It's 8:10.
It's been an hour already.
It's been an hour. Like you're late. It's okay. You can run it back. No big deal. You can run it back.
We'll post it on Spotify and Apple tomorrow as well. So,
or you could just go on Twitter and click on one of us, and you can watch this episode. Watch it back.
Exactly.
But we will be back with you next Tuesday. No more holidays. Today, like, threw me off. I was like, wait, today's Tuesday? Oh, yeah.
It doesn't even feel like it. I know.
It doesn't. But we'll be back with y'all next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Please make sure if you are not already, make sure you are subscribed to us on YouTube, that you are following us both on X, Twitter, Instagram. I don't know what to call it anymore. And this will be uploaded on Apple and Spotify tomorrow. Again, we have McKenzie Nelson from KSHB 41. She's a sports anchor analyst with them, and she does amazing work. And she dropped a little bit of tea too. So if you didn't listen, go back and listen.
Yeah.
Until then, bye.
Dang, he was here since before the Chiefs existed. That's crazy.
It's so funny because Peter's years always go
really off, but it's okay.
I feel like last time it was like 1437. Yeah. That was 1297. I agree.
He's BC.
He's one of the OGs, and we appreciate him for sure. So
we appreciate
Y'all have a good night.
Love y'all.
Bye.